I'm noticing a pattern. Are you guys noticing a pattern?
Hey, another Florida state lawmaker has left the Democratic Party and joined Republicans. Representative Hillary Cosell. It wasn't a decision she made lightly. She says she won't agree with the party on every issue, but does believe Republicans have a better vision for Florida.
Can you blame her? Hey, welcome back. Glad to have you. You tell me, are they tucking tail and switching sides, or is this a genuine awakening? Second Democratic lawmaker switches to GOP. But that's not the whole story. It's all over the country right now.
A Democratic lawmaker in North Carolina announced today that she is switching to the Republican Party.
She says the party has changed and she no longer aligns herself with it.
Does that sound familiar to you?
The move gives North Carolina Republicans an absolute supermajority.
State Representative Maisha Maynor says her decision to defect from the Democrats to become a Republican came after her relationship with her own party splintered. Now, a Republican represents one of the bluest parts of Georgia under the Gold Dome.
Today, I stand here to say that I have decided to join the Republican Party of Georgia.
The major announcement coming after what she called, quote, harassment and intimidation since she broke with state Democrats on private school vouchers and police reform.
Harassment and intimidation by her own party made her switch to Republican. Doesn't that sound familiar? This is from 3 years ago.
Here we go again. For the first time in history, Democrats have complete control over a select committee. I hope the American people are paying close attention. I hope they see what happens when Democrats get total power. They abuse it. They intimidate, they threaten, and they harass. And they try to put their political opponents in jail.
Sounds almost prophetic, doesn't it? This is from 13 years ago, during the Obama administration.
Mr. Speaker, the First Amendment gives the American people the right to petition the Congress for redress of grievances and to express freedom of speech. Several weeks ago, Chairman Henry Waxman sent a letter to several U.S. corporations for having the temerity to express displeasure with the health care bill and to inform their employees and stockholders of the consequences of that piece of legislation. He has opened an investigation into those companies, and we have a hearing next week. 2 days ago, Chairman Waxman sent a letter to the American Farm Bureau opening an investigation into their activities, expressing their displeasure with the EPA endangerment finding and the pending cap-and-trade legislation in the United States Senate. Mr. Speaker, I'm very concerned when one of the premier committee chairmen appears to be using his power to intimidate Americans from expressing their First Amendment rights. I think that's a sad state of affairs, and I think it should be investigated.
This behavior isn't anything new. Finally, their own party's realizing it. A second Democratic Florida legislator has switched parties to GOP this month, citing her former party's lack of unified support for Israel. State Rep Hillary Cosell said in a Friday statement on the social media platform X that she is not making the decision lightly, but she is joining the Republican Party because she believes in its vision for a better, more prosperous Florida. As a proud Jewish woman, I have been increasingly troubled by the Democratic Party's failure to unequivocally support Israel and its willingness to tolerate extreme progressive voices that justify or condone acts of terrorism, Cosell said. I'm constantly troubled by the inability of the current Democratic Party to relate to everyday Floridians. I can no longer remain in a party that doesn't represent my values, she continued. Cosell said she recognizes that she won't agree with every Republican on every detail, but she knows she will always have input, collaboration, and respect from the party. She said the conference supports members finding common sense solutions to the issues facing people and welcomes differing ideas and collaboration which represent her values. I ran for office to make my community and the state better. I want my constituents to know my resolve to deliver on these promises has never been stronger. Cosell is the second former state House Democrat to leave the party this month after State Rep Susan Valdez left the party when she lost her bid to become the chair of the Hillsborough County Democratic Party. Valdez said she did not want to spend what would be her final 2 years in the state legislature being ignored in a caucus with leaders expecting her to ignore her own community's needs. Republicans already enjoy a supermajority in the houses of the Florida legislatures, so Valdez and Cosell's switches do not majorly shake up party power in the state, but they further add to the growing GOP dominance in a state that is less than a decade ago was still considered the quintessential swing state. State House Speaker Daniel Perez welcomed Cassell into the party in a statement on X showing a picture of them together. But we're not done, because this is happening all over the place. Nebraska State Senator Mike McDonald switches party to Republican.
1984, I decided to register as a Democrat. I was a Christian, member of the Roman Catholic Church, and I was proud of that, and I was pro-life. 2016, I decided to run for the legislature. Christian, member of the Roman Catholic Church, pro-life, pro-union, pro-Second Amendment. Wanted to see how we could grow our state and reduce property taxes at the same time. As a process we've gone through down here as senators, I've tried to stick with those principles. I asked the Democratic Party, Douglas County, to respect that I'm pro-life, that I'm a member of the Roman Catholic Church. And my beliefs are based on that. Douglas County Democrats, instead of respecting it, they decided to punish it. They said you cannot participate, you can't be a delegate, we're not going to share our party resources. I continue to vote pro-life. State Democratic Party decided to censure me.
This is what the Democrat Party does. They demand you be a monolith and you participate in their singular identity. And if you're not willing to do that, they ostracize you. State Senator Mike McDonald of Omaha announced Wednesday he's changing his party registration from Democrat to Republican. McDonald said he's making the change because his anti-abortion views have not been respected by Nebraska Democrats, including the decision by Douglas County Democrats not to seat him as a delegate and not provide resources to him, and the state party's decision to censure him. Being a Christian, a member of the Roman Catholic Church, and pro-life is more important to me than being registered Democrat. He made the announcement at a press conference flanked by Governor Jim Pillen, Attorney General Mike Hilgers, and a number of other Republican leaders. Among those in attendance was Douglas County Attorney Don Klein, whose decision to join the GOP in 2020 was similarly celebrated by party leaders. Pillen welcomed McDonald to the GOP, saying the senator had found his way home. Others praised McDonald as a person of character and integrity, a leader and a solid guy. Hansen said he expects McDonald, who is president of the Omaha Federation of Labor, will continue to speak up for labor issues, and that his party switch will show labor groups that both Republicans and Democrats should be fighting for their support. McDonald said his decision had not been easy, and after growing up with a grandfather who told him we're Irish, we're Catholic, and we're Democrats, McDonald said he'd been considering the switch for the past year. He came under fire within the Democrat Party in the last few years for his legislative votes in favor of banning abortion and prohibiting minors from getting special medical care for switching their genders. McDonald split with his former party on measures including one to boost scholarships for private schools and students, and another to allow people to carry concealed weapons without a permit. This dude sounds like one of those Democrats that doesn't realize he's a libertarian. Nebraska Democrat Party Chair Jane Klebe responded to the announcement by saying the party would continue to stand up for reproductive freedom and the human rights of the LGBTQ community. Our decision to censure Senator McDonald was never about him being pro-life Catholic. Our decision was based on our party reaffirming our core values to protect women's ability to make decisions and keep politicians out of our most personal healthcare decisions, except you guys are politicians for one. And secondly, you're directly referring to him being pro-life, which is about him being Catholic, so excuse you. My votes for the last 8 years would not have changed, he said, referring to the 2 terms he served on the Nebraska legislature. That's exactly right. He's saying he hasn't moved. The Democratic Party has moved. Would you look at that? We bagged another Democrat. But wait, there's more. Northern California state senator switches to Republican Party after years as a Democrat. How you doing out there, California? We're coming for you. Man, if we could turn Cali red, I mean the weather.
Tonight, for the first time since 1995, a California lawmaker is changing parties, this time from Democrat to Republican. Senator Marie Alvarado-Gil says tonight she and the Democratic Party don't have the same values anymore since she was elected back in 2022.
A theme. Are you noticing a theme? This word, values.
So how rare is this switch and why now? We're getting answers from CBS 13 political analyst Gary Dietrich.
Well, I can tell you this, it is exceptionally rare for a sitting member of the California legislature to change their party. I mean, it almost never happens. So the question is, why would it? All right, well, a look at the numbers is what really tells the story. Because Republican registration in that district, we just checked it today, is up about 5 points over Democratic registration.
Are you guys getting what I'm throwing down right now? Am I conveying the message in this glorified PowerPoint presentation? They destroyed their own party. They eviscerated their own party. They were handed the throne, and they set themselves ablaze while blaming everybody else. Not even Politico can ignore it anymore. For Elliot Pritt, defecting to the GOP was an obvious choice. The West Virginia lawmaker comes from an area of the state that used to be solidly blue. Voters sent a Democrat to his seat in the state house for 24 straight years, but attitudes in his district have recently swung towards Republicans, credited largely to the decline of coal and anger over environmental restrictions. So Pritt abandoned the Democrat Party and registered as a Republican in April. He was motivated by a desire to more effectively represent his constituents and take advantage of opportunities enjoyed by Republicans who wield a supermajority control over the state legislature. Even if I were to run and win again, I would look at another term of never getting another bill passed and never getting anything done. For the time I'm gonna be here, I'm not gonna sit there and be a lame duck and not get anything done. It's getting so bad. The Democrat Party in North Carolina is now looking for ways to punish people for switching sides.
Happening now, there is a new bill aimed at discouraging politicians from switching parties. Democratic senators in the North Carolina General Assembly introducing that bill today would make anyone who changes party registrations during their term subject to an early election to keep the seat. That's right. This move comes after Mecklenburg County Representative Tricia Cotham here switched parties earlier this year to become a Republican.
So this is all to say that I think that exactly what frustrates us the most about the Democrat Party is exactly what is destroying the Democrat Party. And I think that puts us and the values of classical liberalism in a really good position moving into the future. So don't worry out there, guys. It might be a transition period right now, but I think it is all gonna work out exactly how we need it to. Ugh. Hey, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you joining me again for this one. There's more videos just like this, guys. I love doing this, and I love having you guys here. Thank you so much for joining me, and check out some more videos on the left over here, or some music. It's all pretty good, I think. Appreciate you guys. I will see you tomorrow.